Hello and welcome folks to another modern video. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the decks that got a biggest improvement, I guess, in the last couple of months, and that is Hardened Scales. This deck has been around for a while, since the card was printed really, but it kind of took a pretty big hit when Mox Opal got banned, and we kind of haven't really seen it that much. But there was this printing that happened in one of the latest sets, which is Ozolith the Shatter Spire. That's of course, you know, the other Ozolith. We have this Ozolith in Ikoria, and then we have this new Ozolith, which is basically an extra copy of Hardened Scales. This means that now we have access to effectively 7 copies of this effect. Obviously, this one is legendary, but it actually comes with a very good ability in just actually allowing you to just boost your dudes up, and not only that, but also you can cycle whenever you draw multiple copies of it, so it's actually pretty nice. This deck got a pretty significant improvement with these cards. I think that you know, Ursa Saga has been part of the deck since it was printed. We of course have access to Savas, which also was printed in Modern Horizons, but this definitely helped, but it wasn't enough to turn the deck into one of the best decks in the format. But I think currently it really is. I think that the biggest hit this deck is taking is just the complexity. This deck is extremely hard to pilot, and of course I'm expecting that will make plenty of mistakes throughout this league, but hopefully we will be learning how this goes. This is, by the way, a donut deck list. Thanks to Stabs, really appreciate the continued support, my friend. And yeah, this is a list by Aspiring Spike, who has also been pretty high on the deck, and rightfully so. I think the deck is very, very much legit, but we're going to be trying it through a Modern League. We'll see how it goes. I'm very excited to try it out. I actually owned the deck in paper before a bunch of printings happened that basically meant that I was priced out of it. So I'm very excited about giving this deck a shot, and yeah, very interested in piloting it and see what happens. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you for round number 1. All right, here we go. We are on the draw and Gemstone Caverns. Let's go. Yeah, I think I'm keeping this hand. Maybe it's not too great, but it's nice because we can... I kind of want to get rid of the land as opposed to getting rid of the redundant Savas, because we can actually use Ravager to like sack Savas and like boost the Ravager itself. So I think that the redundant card is going to matter. So I think I'm just going to pitch the Horizon Canopy here. Steam Vents. We're probably just going to play out the Hanger back here. My opponent holding up potentially Lightning Bolt. All right, another land. My opponent could have Spell Snare, but Spell Snare is going to be good against me anyway, so... All right, consider. Less scary. Would love to find something like an Ursa Saga. Ursa Saga is probably my best draw right here. Hardened Scales would also be a very, very good draw. Or the Ozolith. Either Ozolith. Both of them would be pretty good here. So here, this is going to be interesting. My opponent only plays a Shredder. I'm going to be probably triggering this hanger back somehow. What I can do is I can just play a land and just play a Ravager and uptick the hanger back. I think I want to do that, just to make sure that I resolve the hanger back. It also prevents my opponent from looting with Shredder, which is nice. We're probably not going to be able to prevent this forever, but now we can, if my opponent attempts to kill the Ravager, I can pop the hanger back and I can have it do some stuff in response, right? I can actually make the Ravager into a 4/4 if I want to. All right, opponent just passing the turn back. Let's lead on Ancient Steering, because I may find a land here. We don't. We find the Ballista, which we're going to be sitting on for a while, I assume. So let's just play. I think we're just going to play Savas here. This is going to trigger Shredder, but I don't think I can really help this. At least the Shredder didn't grow, which is nice. I just resolved. Interesting. All right. Well, I pass the turn back. We can really make this hanger back beefy if we want to, but probably not. Probably not going to. All right. So they just did nothing? I can't help but to think that that's good for me. All right, fetch land. What do you got, opponent? Blood Moon main deck. Iteration. Okay. They found the land of the Iteration, but they kind of can't. Oh, wow. They actually play land from hand instead of the exiled one. Interesting. What does that mean? I'm definitely going to attempt to pump this hanger back on end step, because if my opponent tries to do something, obviously we have a million ways to punish them. So that just happens. Okay, that's a cool draw. Let's play that, because it kind of forces the issue. Like, they know about the Ballista, but if they don't counter this, it's just so bad for them. So now we swing with both of these. I get to pop Hanger back. Huh. Can I kill them? I think I actually may have lethal, so I attack with both. We see how my opponent blocks. I imagine they're going to block the Ravager. Then... No, but then I'm forced to sack the Ravager and I can't put the counters on the Ballista. So I think we just attack with the Hangerback Walker. So this is 3 points. This is 3 down to 12. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I guess it's not big enough. It's not big enough just yet. Just gonna send with the Hangerback. We can sack. We can pop the Sabas and put the counter here. Yeah, let's do that. So going to sack here, put the counter there. So this is 4. Go to damage. Down to 11. Pay this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can have my opponent loot, or I can just play out a Ballista. I think I'm just going to play out a Ballista. It makes it so my opponent's going to be able to... They're going to be able to loot here, but I think just resolving the Ballista is good. Discarding Murktide, alright? There was an argument for just popping Hunger back there. DRC. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this now. Actually, yeah. Yeah, let's just pass it on. Let's give my opponent the chance to make the first move. Second Shredder doesn't really do. And now they're kind of in a situation where they need to make the first move, but at the same time, if they do, I just kill them. I guess they could have exactly 2 removal spells as their last 2 cards in hand. Swinging with Shredder. Okay. Oh, they're tapping out? Oh, they're dead. Wow, they just drew no removal spells whole game. They just did not find a single removal spell. That's wild. Play that. Play that. Not that this does anything, but it's just more fun. So there goes the Sabas. Activate Hangerback. Pop Hangerback. Make some dudes. Sack a token. Sack a token. Sack a token. And sacrifice it to itself. Modular onto Ballista. And Tenya. Alright, cool. We got their game 1. On to Cyber the Game. So I think I like Relic. I think I like Relic of Progenitus. Soulless Jailer doesn't really do anything. It's definitely an interesting card. It's definitely an interesting card for the matchups like Yawgmoth, or even something like, obviously stuff like Cascade, right? So definitely an interesting card. We're gonna be on the draw, so I think I want another Gemstone Caverns coming in, and I guess we're gonna cut a Canopy for the Gemstone Caverns. It's gonna be either cutting the Canopy or the Pendelhaven. I think I'm gonna cut the Canopy. And then we want the 2 relics, and we want to cut... I think Welding Jar is probably great. Sorry, I received a call from my pediatrician, my daughter's pediatrician, and I just like freaked out and cut an Ozolith and Sabas for the 2 relics. Probably not right, but whatever. But this is the hand that we have going on for the second game. It's basically an O-lander, unless I either A, Lucksack, or B, go find Springleaf Drum off of this. Yeah, sure. I think just Welding Jar plus Relic is a very solid starting point. So, possible my opponent's holding up Spell Pierce here. That would suck. Oh, there we go. Such a pro. Such a pro. I'm definitely going to play out my Welding Jar right now. They're going to Spell Pierce this, which is okay, I guess. Definitely interested in playing out the Jar right now, so my opponent... I just don't trigger a Shredder on turn 2. This opponent's got a DRC. DRC times 2. Okay. Okay, this turn I think I am going to play out the Saga here. And I think I'm just going to Steerings. Maybe I should have done that in the opposite order. Do I want... I think I want the Automaton. I could also just get the Shadow Spear. This means this just frees up my Saga to go get something else instead. Yeah, I think I kind of like that. So we're going to get the Shadow Spear here. And the reason to do this is so I can just play it out. And now I can use this Saga to actually go get the Ozolith, which I think is probably going to be fantastic on this board. I can also go get a Relic. Relic is probably quite strong against my opponent's double DRC start. They beat a Blood Moon, wow, okay. I guess I really want to start beating down. I kind of want to continue just drawing lands here. I could also just not make a construct to play around Dress Down and just go Ravager into Sabas. I guess it would be the other way around, so if my opponent attempts to kill something, they attempt to kill the Sabas. I think I like that. It just plays around Dress Down so much better. We're going to be taking a significant amount of damage here. Definitely drawing some Sabases, huh? Okay, so play the Ink Moth. We're going to play Sabas first, and then we're going to play the Ravager. Again, I think this is better than just making the construct because it makes it so my opponent can't just have it Dress Down and completely blow me out. And now, even if they use removal on one of my creatures, I can just suck some stuff to make them grow. I think we're in good shape here. In fact, if I want to go all in, which I probably don't want to, I could go get Ozolith with the Saga, activate Ink Moth, sacrifice all my things to make the Ink Moth big. Oh, that's why they'd be in the Blood Moon. Alright. So this is going to destroy the Saga and is going to lock down my Ink Moth. But I can now suit up the Ravager. Oh, this is not a good play. This is not a good play because the way regeneration works is it taps the creature and removes it from combat. So now I can just do this. I just regenerate my guy, and now the Unholy Hit dies. But now I just get to connect with the Ravager to like gain a bit of life. So my opponent should have waited until my turn, I think. That's an Automaton, which is fine. It's probably better than just doing nothing. There's an argument for just like suiting up the Ravager and just like swinging for 4, sorry. Swing with both, and I think I want to sack here to put the counters on my Ravager. Alright, so we swing for 3. We don't lose to Monkey Dashed. We do lose to Lightning Bolt. That Blood Moon was timely, I'll say as much. So I guess we do lose to having... Oh, what I can do here! Oh, this is nice. So I can just block, and I can just sack the Ravager. So I'm just this plays around my opponent having a removal spell. So now I just make my dude into a 4/4, but because of the ward, my opponent can't actually kill the Automaton here. Iteration. I like to believe that my opponent is getting Blood Mooned a little bit here. They can't hold up counterspell, they can't do that kind of stuff. We're not dead, because we can just make this into a 5/5. We can make this into a 5/5, and we can swing for 5/5 lifelink going up to 7. Then we only take 5 on the crackback. But obviously, you know, like Unholy Heat probably kills us because it just gets rid of the Automaton next turn. I guess a Relic. I can draw a Relic. If I draw a Relic, maybe we can do some stuff here. So play Sabas. And now Shadow Spear to suit up. Still only a 6/6, so Unholy Heat kills it. But we do get to gain some life, which is nice. Up to 8. Death to Bolt and Heat. And we kind of beat everything else, honestly. DRC is coming in. Not too much to do there. Oh, E for 2. Yeah, that's probably good enough. That is probably good enough. So what I can do here is... I can move Shadow Spear over to Sabas, play another Sabas. That makes the other one into a 4/4, but I still die exactly. I think this is how this works. I think. Hopefully it does. I'm just doing this for science, just to make sure that... So we're gonna keep the one that's not summoning sick. Just want to make sure that the modular works. Yeah, it does. So yeah, so I can suit up here, but we still die. We die exactly. Game number 3. So I think I do want the Ozolith. The Welding Jars are fantastic. I'm gonna be on the play, so I'd rather have Canopy than a second Gemstone Caverns. In fact, do I even want Gemstone Caverns at all? Just play 21 lands. I kind of do want to add the other Sabas though. Maybe in place of an Ozolith. Alright, yeah, this hand looks good. I think we're gonna go turn 1 Relic instead of turn 1 Sabas. Opponent moves to 6. Turn 1 Relic, say go. We're going to play Hangerback Walker next turn. Does Steerings change anything? I don't think so. I still want to play Hangerback here to play around Counterspell. If my opponent has Spell Snare, sure, but I'm going to Relic that. Consider. Okay, so Hangerback is in. Next turn we can probably go Sabas. Well, I guess we can just go second Hangerback into pump the other one. DRC. Hopefully this DRC is going to be a lot worse than the previous. Opponent kept on top, interestingly enough. I'm just getting the relic out of the way. And they take an instant, which is interesting. Okay. We'd rather have the extra green source or the red source. Because, like, Pendelhaven is actually doing something here. Like, it's going to be able to pump my dudes. Which is particularly good when there's a, just a 1-1 on the other side of the battlefield. I guess I'm going to take this turn off. And I'm just going to play this as a red source. Let's lead on Shadow Spear. See what my opponent does. Because this plays around Spell Pierce very nicely. And now I'm going to play Sabas. Still playing around Spell Pierce nicely. And I guess I'm going to take this turn right now to just this instance right there so I can pump the Hangerback. They shock. Interesting. Alright, I'm into this. Sure. Bolt Sabas. Good. So now I have a 3-3 Hangerback. So now I guess they can kill this and EE for 0. That's probably a way around this situation for them. Tapping out for Iteration. This also means that the DRC is serving. Alright. Spiral of Canaan. I assume they're gonna kill this. If they are, they should do it now. Because they exiled the Bolt to the Iteration, so they have to use it right now. And that would have given my opponent more information, I think. Maybe it just doesn't matter. So we get some 1/1s. Okay, so let's play a land in Steerings. There's a Ravager. I think that's what I want to play. I think that's what I want to get. Let's get a Ravager, Relic, and we're just going to play out Ravager. And I think I just swing with all, like we're winning the race fairly easily. I think that actually holding the mana to pop this matters more than pumping for one. I may be wrong on that. Also because there's the possibility of my opponent just casting a Murktide. But I'm not even sure that Murktide does that much right now. I can ambush this DRC, probably not going to, because it enables my opponent's Unholy Heat. I'll just take 3. EE for 0. Seems good to me. Opponent leaves the card on top with the DRC trigger. Very interesting. Okay, so they pop. Going to sack a dude. I'm beating everything here. Like, it just kind of doesn't matter what they do. Like, I'm beating Heat because of the Relic. I am beating Bolt as well. It's awkward because it forces me to sack my Relic, but like I'm still beating Bolt. I guess I could just sack the Ink Moth. So now that's gone. Yeah, so now they go for Heat, which is weird timing. But yeah, I'm just gonna pop this Relic, draw a card. So that's only a shock now. This is now a 4/4. So, ooh, interesting. Okay, so play my land. I can't lethal with Ink Moth, I don't think. Can I? 1 mana to activate this, 1 mana to pump, 2 mana to Hangerback Walker. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm 1 away. Ugh, that sucks. Okay, so what if I go for damage instead? I mean, I kind of feel like I just play Automaton, then play Hangerback, and my opponent is not in great shape here. If they have another explosives, they can EE for 2, and I just suit up my Hangerback instead. So I think we're just cooking here. This is why I like this deck so much. It's very robust. It's kind of surprising how much you get to do. Did I miss lethal? 4, 5, because I can activate Ink Moth. 6, 7, 8, 9. So I did not. My opponent was at 11, and they could still go to 1. So I did not miss lethal there. Maybe I did. Who knows? I don't know how I like this, because if they enable Delirium, like this has to attack. So now they don't have enough mana to EE on 2. And if they do EE on 2, then I just suit up the Hangerback, just give it trample, I can just kill them. So I think we got him. Okay, there we go. Now second main phase, that's when they play the Iteration. Okay, well played by my opponent there. Well played by my opponent. Good sequencing. I think it's too late. I think we are past the point of no return, but that was well played by them. Murktide. Oh, are they gonna play a Murktide? Oh no, they don't. Okay. Yep. I think we should be good here. So we suit up Automaton with Shadow Spear, activate Hangerback. We just get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's very lethal. Just gonna go for it here. 1, 2. Very, very nice. That Patchwork Automaton kind of insane here, actually. Let's sack there, sack there, sack there. This seems like a 10-10. Sack Ravager, modular onto Automaton, and with the ward 2, it means my opponent can't interact with it. Nice. All right, that was a cool game. That was a very cool match. Well, this is awesome. I get to play against Evan. Sick. All right. Do I keep this? No idea what Evan's doing over there. We don't have any green mana. We have 2 green cards. Kind of awkward. Let's just ship it. I have yet to see the namesake card of my deck. Have not seen a Hardened Scales just yet. Yeah, I'm gonna ship this again down to 5. Speaking of, so there's the Hardened Scales, but we have no mana and a bunch of 2-drops. So down to 4 we go. All right, finally we got there. So we're gonna keep this. We're gonna bottom one of these forests. Probably bottom the welding jar. And I think I bottom the Sabas. Let's just go turn 1 Steerings as opposed to Hardened Scales. Yeah, I'm just gonna go get the Saga. I know that there's a Ravager in there and all the good stuff, but I feel like I need more. Turn 1 Plane. So it looks like Evan is on Hammer. Definitely on Hammer. So my Multi 4 is probably not gonna be good enough to beat any Hammer hand whatsoever, particularly when my opponent kept 7. So I am very... what's the word? I'm not expecting to win this game, let's put it like that. That's a Pure Steel Paladin, and that is a Shadow Spear. Okay. That could have been worse. That could have been worse for sure. Uh-oh. Evan, stop going off. Stop it. Stop it. So they can move the mantle over to the Thopter to make some more mana if they can continue going off here. Interesting. So they're just not even swinging for 1 and gaining a life. Yeah, so I think this costs me 1 less construct, but I think it's worth it so I can have another 1-drop come into place soon enough. I think the first Saga is gonna find Sabas. Uh-oh, there we go. I did find the Saga. Another Thopter. And now what? Coming in for 1. No blocks. Stupid 1/1 construct. Probably not gonna be able to brawl with the 1/3. So here's a dude. And tap. We draw Hangerback. How do we win? How do we win? So I can just float a mana because I have another Saga. So I can just float a mana and just see what my options are. We can get Sabas, which is tempting. We can get Ozolith. I don't think any of these options are great for me though. What's my end game? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get Sabas so I can just kill itself and I can make some dudes. So let's make another construct here. I think I swing for 3 and just pass it back. Next turn, what do? I can Ozolith. Kill my own thing. Oh, yeah, that's very bad. All right. So now he just finds a hammer and they just make a big Ornithopter with like trample and lifelink. I just can't beat that. So Hayward Might sounds great. Beating Needle sounds great. I'm gonna be on the play here. Probably don't care about Welding Jar. And I can cut 1 Ozolith. It feels like maybe it could have been a little bit closer if I hadn't mulliganed to 4. But I just did a bunch of nothing and I just died. Also, I do imagine that this matchup is pretty bad for us. My opponent just, I mean, they go bigger with less effort. Their sideboard cards are also more impactful than mine. If I had something like Force of Vigor or Engineered Explosives or whatever, maybe that could even the playing field a little bit. But the goal for the matchup seems for me to just like make a Ballista very early and just hope that that somehow is good enough, which seems very unlikely. Hayward Might is legit though. But my opponent gets March, they get stuff like Prismatic Ending, so their sideboard cards are more impactful than mine. Alright, yeah, we're keeping this one. And I think I go turn 1 Scales, because if I draw a land, it's that much better. And I kind of don't really want to play either one of these cards before I see what my opponent's doing turn 1. So I'm going to lead on Scales as opposed to Ancient Stirrings. And my best draw is probably Urza Saga. He moves to 6. Turn 1 Sentinel. Ugh. Well, he and mulligans. Here's a land. Yeah, let's get an Inkmoth. Inkmoth is actually kind of nice. I may be able to set up some lethal nonsense over the course of a couple of turns. Play out Hammer, play out Shadow Spear. So this tells me that he probably has Paladin in hand. Being stuck on mana sucks here. I could play Pity Needle naming Colossus Hammer. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to play out Ballista. And this is going to mess up my opponent's plans a little bit, because if they play Paladin, I can just kill the Esper Sentinel in response. We just passed the turn. Okay, that's a land. All right. So let's lead on Pity Needle. Oh, I should have killed these. Whoops. Yeah, that was kind of a big mistake there. So this forces the action on the Saga, which is, I think, fine. The problem is he can get Pity Needle now, and that blanks my Ravager. I'm just gonna name Colossus Hammer. Play Ravager. I think we swing with both. Yeah, because I have already another Ravager, so now we just pop this to the Ravager, but modular onto the Ballista. This makes the Ballista a 5/5, and it's gonna make the Ravager into big boy. Solitude in response. Pitching Forge anew. Yeah, that's brutal. All right, so I guess I'll just have to sack here, just make the Ravager into huge. I should have killed the Sentinel. That was a big mistake. It was free to kill the Esper Sentinel. Yeah, that was a punt. That was a huge punt. Particularly because I think that my opponent's gonna get Needle now. And if they Needle me, that's kind of a big problem, because now my Ravager just doesn't do anything. My goal was to kill with Inkmoth anyways. They have to name Ravager now. Yeah, now my opponent has a good attack. If I had killed the Sentinel, which again was free, I could have made the construct one smaller. Okay, it would still be a 7/7, so it doesn't really matter, but still a pretty bad mistake. Drum. Ugh, okay. So, I mean, I guess that's still free to play, so... Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to pay for this now. This Sentinel did so much work, like, it was such a big mistake for me to not do that. So, let's make this into a 2/2. So now we can block whichever one my opponent doesn't suit up with the Shadow Spear. Yeah, I actually played this game very poorly, I think. I don't think we're dead, but I also don't think we can win anymore, because even Might doesn't do anything at this point. Actually, never mind. Might would be lethal. Yeah, Might would be lethal. So that's my draw. I guess now they have Ornithopter, so Might is no longer blocking there, so we don't lose. We do get a couple of 1/1s. Pendelhaven doesn't do anything. Ravager number 2, which once again doesn't do anything. So this is not looking great. This is most certainly not looking good. This Pity Needle is owning me single-handedly. There's a Pure Steel Paladin, which does do something. Alright, so I need to block Ravager here. Okay, so I think I have exactly one out. I have exactly one out, and that is Boseiju. So I'm going to play... I am going to play as if I am going to top deck Boseiju. So the way that we win, if we top deck specifically an answer for this Ornithopter, is we have to block like this. We have to block like that. Then we're going to Pendelhaven the Thopter, and then activate Inkmoth so that we can put all of the counters onto the Inkmoth. And now if we top deck exactly Boseiju, we have enough mana to activate Inkmoth and kill the Ornithopter, which would give us a lethal attacker. So even after all my punts throughout this game, we may still be able to get there. Boseiju one time. Shadow Spear doesn't do it. Shadow Spear is 1 mana too short. Dude, oh, that is so close. That is so close. 1 mana short. 1 mana short of lethal. Alright, see you next round. Round number 3, hopefully I'm going to be playing a little bit cleaner than the previous game. And this is a good draw. I like this draw a lot. So we get to start on Hardened Scales. And I imagine I play Hangerback on 2. We also drew 1 Ozolith. Yeah, this hand is very well-rounded. Obviously, if we find a Ravager, I have to imagine that we win somehow. But even if we don't, we're doing some stuff. We're definitely doing some stuff here. Opponent moves to 6. Plaza of Heroes. That's a card. Okay. Alright. Sure. Let's Hangerback Walker. I could have Ballista and kill this Skrelev. I have no idea how to pronounce this card's name. Skrelev? Sacred Foundry. Hisamaru, Hound of Konda. Damn. Alright. Things are happening. Things are most certainly happening. I think I'm just gonna Steerings here. That was a pretty decent draw there. Oh, yep. Is Saga better than Ravager? Saga gives me a line drop, which I kind of want here, and it also allows me to play a longer game, so I think I'm into it. So let's just play Saga, and I'm gonna play Ballista, and I think I kill this card right now. Let's ping the Skrelev, and just pass the turn back. I have to imagine that this is the deck that plays the white card that pumps all of the legends. It's not even that good here though. Like, sure, my opponent gets a 4-3 and a 4-2, but I just like trade. Doesn't achieve that much. Okay, I'll take 4. This is fine. Kind of an interesting attack. I wonder what. Okay, another Sklev. So another red source, another land doesn't do too much for me here. Just gonna play Ozolith, and I am nowhere close to lethal, so... Is it better for me to... Interesting. So I think... Actually, I don't think I want to make a construct. I think it's more valuable for me to pump Hangerback. So let's actually do that. So I'm just gonna play Shadow Spear, and I'm just gonna hold up mana to pump my Hangerback. Also, they just shocked last turn and did nothing. Mox Amber. Eomer, Marshal of Rohan. Whenever one or more other legendary creatures you control die, untap all creatures you control. Okay, sure. But my opponent can't attack. They need to give this Pro Colorless. Yeah, I don't think that's a good play. Like, this is exactly what I want to happen anyway. So now we trade these, but I get 4 tokens, and I also get 4 counters on the Ozolith. Like, this game is super over now. I don't think my opponent can win anymore. We are kind of done. Like, I just get... do we have actual lethal? We may have actual lethal. 1 second. So, I float a colorless mana, activate Ink Moth. My opponent has only 1 card, so they can't have Solitude, so I can just go for it if I want to. So, activate Ink Moth, that's 2 mana. I get my little guy. Then I destroy my own Ballista. This puts 2 counters on the Ozolith, that's up to 6. Then I have my Sabas kill itself, that's 2 more counters, that's up to 8. And then they move on to the... Yeah, this is lethal. Because I have the 2 red sources. So get Sabas, make a red thing, activate Ink Moth, destroy an artifact I control, 2 counters onto the Ozolith. Oh wait, what? Did I miscount here? Uh-oh. 7. I think I may have miscounted here. I thought that you would put 2 counters on the Ozolith with the Hardened Scales, but this only applies to creatures. So, punish for not knowing how my cards work. So now if I do that... Oh no, but I still modular, so it's fine. Yeah, this still works. So we get the modular trigger, and we also get the Ozolith. So this is still fine. Beginning of combat, put the counters on the Ink Moth, swing for lethal. Alright, cool. Even after my mistake, that somehow worked out. So I want Gemstone Mine over a Canopy, and I honestly think that's it. Maybe I want a Singleton Hayward Might over a Welding Jar. Reason being so I can destroy one of my opponent's enchantments if it happens that the game goes that way, but I doubt that it's going to. I don't think I want Piting Needle. I think this is just fine. And I don't think that Might is super great, honestly. I just think that the opportunity cost of playing a single copy is worth it, but I would basically never want to naturally draw it. This hand seems strong. I like this hand. So my sequencing is gonna go turn 1 Ozolith, second Ravager. I probably gonna play the Welding Jar right now as well. Play Ozolith, pass the turn. Next turn I get to go Saga into Ravager. I'm gonna take 1 hit from this monkey, but that's it. Monkey exiles Ballista. That's kind of brutal. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Too bad that Ancient Steerings, unless your name is Alex Vertoncini, Ancient Steerings actually does not find Hardened Scales, which is unfortunate. It's kind of neat how this deck has basically perfect mana. They did not play Ballista. Huh. Here's a Saga, and here's a Ravager. So even though we get to block here, but we put the counters on the Ozolith, which is nice. So I'm not actually going to regenerate this Ravager. We have a second one coming in a couple of turns, so it's fine. So I value just having these counters on the Ozolith higher than like Welding Jar to protect the Ravager and then get blown out by a removal spell from my opponent. Wow. Shinka, the Blood-Soaked Keep. Okay, that's a good one. So this means I can't profitably block the monkey anymore, which is kind of rough. Okay, there we go. So I guess I actually can't blow the thing up anyway. Yep, well we can't block now. I didn't know that this was actually a legendary enchantment. That is pretty good. That is definitely pretty good. Ursa Saga was exiled. That sucks a little bit. Just a little bit. Ravager number 3. I'm definitely going to just... I think I do swing here. No, my opponent could have the haste thingy, so... Probably gonna chill. I do get to make a construct here. Rest in Peace is pretty brutal. So that is going to blank the Ravager trigger, the modular. Definitely gonna make a construct though. And I'm probably trading with Monkey. Saving the Welding Jar for now. I just don't want to get blown out by my opponent having like a path or something. And they just kill my dude. Untap. We're gonna make a construct here. And I think I'm just going to get the Might. Play Boseiju. And just swing for 1. We're gonna get our choice here, whether we want to kill the Rest in Peace or the artifact. Opponent still has 4 cards in hand, however. Breemass! Now that's a card I have not seen in a minute. Holy crap, that's sick. Do I get to blow up Rest in Peace right now? Blowing up Reap now frees me... I'm not gaining the 2 life, but it frees my mana for next turn, so I can play Ozolith. Yeah, I think it's worth it. So this means now I get to play the Ozolith, which is nice. So now my opponent is in a decent amount of trouble. This Thalia is doing work, though. I have to say this Thalia is actually doing some pretty serious work. Huh, interesting. Okay, so how do we do this? I think we block like this. Alternatively, I can block like that or block like this. If I block like that, I get to sack construct, put 2 counters here. Now I have another Ravager. I can just do this. So this forces my this forces my opponent to like activate the Shinka first. If they go to trades, I just sack the construct anyway. So now I sack construct, put 2 counters. Sack Welding Jar. Now Ravager is a 5/5. I take care of Thalia this way. I take 2 from the Cat Soldier. I think that if I draw a land, I probably have lethal. I'm assuming my opponent has no removal right now. They could cast some stuff off the treasure tokens for sure, but I'm assuming they don't have any, and they're just posturing here. Maybe they're playing Solitude because you kind of need that for your white deck to be playable. But I think between the 2 Ozolith, if I find a land, I should be able to assemble lethal on this Walking Ballista. Alternatively, I can just play 2 Ravagers, and I don't know how my opponent ever can deal with combat anymore. Second Thalia. Okay. Seems beatable. Another Scales. Okay. Oh, it costs 2 because of the second Thalia. That's brutal. Oh, that sucks. Also, my Ballista... with all of these ward creatures My Ballista doesn't really do anything. I think I want to... Wait a second. Do I have lethal with Inkmoth? Activate Inkmoth. Sack Ravager. Put the... Yeah, this is just lethal with Inkmoth. What am I even doing? I am not playing around removal, so I don't think I can beat removal. I was just overthinking this a little bit. It's actually kind of interesting to start to figure out this kind of thing, right? Okay, my opponent was playing Lightning Bolt. Interesting. Well, now I lose the game. Actually, so the counters are gonna go on the Ozolith. Well, actually, my opponent has too many attackers, so I am losing there. But I think it's right for me to go for it there. Like, I don't think it's getting any better. So I think I actually like the second Highwire Might over maybe one Sabas, maybe over the Welding Jar. Like, I was not impressed by Welding Jar there. Also, Caverns for Canopy. Do get to be on the play here. This hand is weird, very weird. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan that. This is better. This is better. What do I bottom? I mean, I'm definitely keeping the quest. I think I bottom the second Ravager. Actually, I'm gonna bottom the Patchwork because I think the best sequencing for me, if my opponent plays a Monkey on one, I'm gonna play Ravager, but otherwise I'm just gonna play the Ozolith. Let's play Inkmoth first, because I'm not doing anything turn 1 anyway, and it just delays the decision on what to do with the pathway. If I find another green source, maybe I can just... So I didn't, so I'm just going to cast this now. It was not the most impressive of starts, but we're doing some things. And now my opponent's Thalia just doesn't really do anything, which is nice. Play versus draw, pretty big difference. And now I drew a Ballista, which means I can just... ping this right here, just move on. And I want to do that main phase so my opponent can't do like, maybe that's wrong. Maybe I just want them to like have to tap extra mana for like their things, their mocks and stuff. Adeline. Okay. Land? Okay, so we did find a land. So now we're going to get Hanger back. Pass the turn. So Adeline is not really going to do anything because the Hanger back is just going to be chilling here. And then next turn I get to go Ravager plus activate Hangerback. It's pretty good. Opponent gets a swing. I don't know about that mana base with the, the so many plus of heroes and having a white artifact that you want to be casting, you know? I'm not super sure about that mana base. I guess it's even better for me to just... because they didn't have a way to pump. And they just pass the turn back? Yeah, their mana base is just a little bit too non-functional for my taste, I think. Well, now I just get to go Ravager into... Hangerback into Ravager. Which means I don't get to uptick this one. I guess this is just much better in the face of Lightning Bolt, so I'm just going to just chill here. Wear Tear. Okay. Just gonna pump Hangerback. So that's a 4/4 now. They blow up my thingy. But now I still get a Ravager next turn. Actually, 2 Ravagers if I want. And if I draw another Ozolith or I draw anything like that, I'm going to be in really good shape. I can also just do nothing. Just play a Ravager and just pass the turn back. And my opponent can't attack into my potentially 5/5 Hangerback. I have a bunch of tricks to do with Ballista. Isamaru. This is a cool card. Another Ballista. Alright. Well, here's a Ravager. And I can play second Ravager, or I can just do nothing. I think I'm going to opt for doing nothing here. Just pass the turn. I'm still at 15. I'm going to modular onto the Hangerback, number 2. That's funny. That's actually good. That's a good draw for them. Actually, no, they can't activate. Oh, these Plaza of Heroes suck. They're so bad. Man, those are really bad for my opponent right here. Wait, what? We're serving? Okay, well, gonna block like that. It's nice that I just don't need to make the first move. Like, that's a great thing about the situation we find ourselves in. Like, I can just ping one of these if for whatever reason I need to do that. I get to, like, activate Hangerback now because the onus is on them to do anything. Oh, this actually works? Alright, that's cool. I can still kill this thing. Alright, so we're going to pop. And we're going to pop here. So that destroys the Hangerback. I get 5/1/1s. This is just... I get to trade my Ballista for their Isamaru if I want. I don't think I do. Another Ravager, that's Ravager number 3. Is this lethal? I think this is just lethal, right? This is just lethal, yeah. Very much so. So, yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, this is the cool thing about this deck, right? How like you're grinding, and you just like you have lethal light out of nowhere, which is very nice. Kind of like Hammer in that sense, although different than Hammer in terms of like your opponent has explosives on one and then you kind of can't win. And this deck can very much beat an engineered explosives. We actually beat multiples when we played against Murktide, but yeah, very cool deck. I really enjoy it. Round number 4. Huh. So steerings cannot find either of my either one of my hardened scales effects. I do wonder if this kind of hand is a keep or not. The funny thing is, like, I could see it either way. I could see this being a keep, or I could see this not being a keep. I have no idea. I think I'm gonna keep it for science, but I could very much see this just being a mulligan, honestly. No idea what I'm up against. I think I'm going to Grove on turn 1 because Boseiju may matter, and if I find a land of ancient steerings, then I may not want to play this out. What do we have here? Ozolith is actually quite interesting. I think I'm going to go with Automaton, and then I can go Automaton into double Welding Jar next turn, which seems pretty strong. This guy is gonna grow rather quickly. Funny enough, if I want to, I can just throw a bunch of ballistas into the bin just so I can make this automaton bigger. But since I have double welding jar, it's just not even worth doing that stuff. Street Wraith. So this is Living End, I guess. Ravager is fantastic against Living End, but oddly enough, ballistas are probably not. Oh, okay, so my opponent's gonna take the Ravager most likely here. Oh, they take a Ballista. Interesting. Well, I'm definitely gonna cast the Ravager now. Okay, we drew a Gemstone Caverns, which does not do anything. The question now is, I think if my opponent Leaving Ends, I probably, like, this Grief comes back anyway, so I'm just gonna cash in for my 1 point of damage. I'm just gonna swing for 6. Because my opponent's gonna Grief away the Automaton if they do get the Leaving End, so having the Ballista in my hand just doesn't do anything. Okay, so here we do get our things back, so that's not the worst, but also we're not, we're fairly behind here. And the worst part is that even if we find an Ink Moth, my opponent has a blocker, so it doesn't really do anything. Also, that's a blank of a draw, so that doesn't help me. Alright, pass the turn. I don't think there's too much we can do here. I guess I can just take everything. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it all. Maybe I can draw... Huh, interesting. Does that do anything? I don't think so. I don't think that's enough. Oh, they have subtlety? Yeah, we just die. Okay, Leaving End. So, relics seem good. And this card is probably good. And I think I wanna probably want to cut the Hangerbacks and Ballistas. My opponent probably has 4, so I do think the Welding Jars are fine. I definitely want to cut either Hangerback or Ballista. Let's just go like this. I don't know which one is worse, so I'm just going to keep one of each. I don't know. Yeah, this is okay. Let's just go with this. We're bringing in 4 Soulless Jailer, right? That card is supposed to do something. I'm on the play, so I think I keep this. I can go turn 1 Ursa Saga, and that allows me to get a relic on turn 3. So before my opponent gets a chance to Leaving End, I can just have a relic going. So turn 1 Saga, play Welding Jar, play Sabas, ship the turn back. We're not gonna get constructs, but I think that's fine. I wonder if they have force of bigger here. It's definitely possible for them to have force. Swing for 1 with my Mighty Insect. Oh, they do have force. There you go. Do I want to do this? I guess so. Definitely seemed worth it to upkeep Destroy the Saga, honestly. I think my opponent made a mistake there. Yeah, we have that going on again. So, we swing with the dudes. So now, if my opponent Leaving Ends, we get to sack Ravager and we get to sack Sabas. Okay, let's play Canopy. And we're gonna get a bunch of X1s. So swing there. We're gonna pump one of these. Opponent takes 3. Opponent doesn't do anything. Sure. We're gonna pump the hanger back. Maybe my opponent does something in response here. No, nothing. Second Ravager. Okay, sure. Let's play second Ravager, see if my opponent does something. Just hardcast Subtlety. Okay. Let's just bottom the Ravager. I kind of want to draw something better. If I attack, what happens? I actively don't want this to be in my opponent's graveyard, which is kind of awkward. Yeah, let's just pass the turn back. I guess I can suit up this. Pass the turn back. Maybe I should have attacked first because of the possibility of Subtlety. We bottomed the Ravager, we drew a Ravager. Ugh, okay. They have another Subtlety? Oh, we're sending this to the bottom once again. Where's my Relic, man? All I want is my Relic. We're suiting up the hanger back, but I'm honestly not even sure that's the correct play. Opponent starts to get in there. Swinging in for 3. Alright, so my opponent leaves only a single Subtlety back. Damn, that sucks. Let's sack Canopy to redraw. Alright, that's a card. So this is actually gonna force the issue now. How do we want to do this? I think I want to swing with just the Ravager, and then I'm gonna wait for my opponent to block, and now Pendle Haven, and I will sack Sabas and put the counters on hanger back. So that's a swing for 4. I could have gone for it, but I don't think I want to right there. We lose to the card Force Vigor for what's worth. Opponent cycles an Haven on my end step. So we lose to Force, or we lose to Foundation Breaker. So let's suit up the hanger back, see what my opponent does. That's not bad. So that's a little bit of insurance against Force. Now we can attack with both to force the issue. Yeah. So now they're gonna block with both most likely. And we're going to sack Sabas, put more counters on hanger back. My goal here is to play around Living End by going super wide with hanger back tokens. No, Otawara is brutal. Oh my god, Otawara is devastating. It's the only card that I can't beat. Ugh, okay. Well, I guess we're gonna let that go, and we're just going to redeploy the hanger back here. So just redeploy the hanger back. This means that at least I get to put these counters on the hanger back. So we are still gonna get a pretty significant amount of tokens as is. That is very nice. So now my opponent, now we're good, right? So now they need to just do too much here. Ugh, Subtlety is gross. I'm still gonna put Ballista on top, I think. Ballista is like one of the cards that I'm willing to keep on top. So let's just swing with the Ravager. If opponent double blocks, which they do, I'm just going to just sack the Welding Jar. And now we get to pump hanger back. So now opponent gets to Living End, but I'm top decking a Ballista. And oof, this game is close. This game is super, super close. So my opponent does not have a guy. So I think I'm just going to attack with hanger back, because that makes it so the Ballista is lethal, thanks to Ravager. Man, what an interesting game. Very, very interesting game. So actually, if we attack with both, yeah, because there's not going to be that much different for having 2 extra tokens, I don't think. So this is just a lethal attack. My opponent needs to do something about it. And if they Living End, I just sack my Ravager, make a bunch of dudes, and then I just play a Ballista second main phase, and I just win. So even if they do have the Living End here, it's just not good enough. They have Force. If they have Force plus Living End, that actually kills me. Woof. Well, I'm gonna sack that one. And we're gonna get a lot of dudes. So that is now 12 lethal threats. 12 lethal threats. 12 1-1, sorry. But we just do the same thing. I just don't play the Ballista. I hope to dodge Grief. I guess that even if they draw the Grief, they would need to also have a black card in hand. So I'm just going to swing next turn. And then if they do... Yeah, if they just Living End me, I just win anyway. Yeah, so if they Living End, I just get back Ravager, double Sabas, and then I just cast a Ballista and just put all my counters on Ballista, and then I just win from there. So, wow, that was a crazy, crazy game. Didn't even need the Soulless Jailer, just casually win without it. Alright, so maybe Hangerback is actually just sick. So let's bring those back in, at least a couple of them. And maybe... Welding Jar was great. I want Gemstone Caverns over Canopy. Maybe Automaton is bad. And I just leave in two Ballista to Hangerbacks. I mean, just Ballista does so much just by threatening to like go off with a Ravager. So even though it's not actually great, just having access to the card does a lot for us. Okay. Keep this. Turn one Welding Jar into Relic. That's not a bad one. So here's a Welding Jar, and here's a Relic. Opponent could have Force, but that's fine. So now my opponent's Force actually doesn't do much. The Force of Vigor, that is. Yeah, they don't even cycle. Relic's probably gonna do some damage here this game. That's a good one. Oh yeah, that's a very good one. Opponent can Force of Vigor now. They probably should. They allow me to do this. Boseiju my Relic. So I will activate Relic there, and I think I just let it go. So I could regen in response, but if my opponent has, I think they have Force of Vigor in hand, and if they Force of Vigor in response to the Welding Jar, then they force my Saga and my Relic, and I don't even get a land. So I think I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to let this go, because I get a green source, and I get to just cast my, probably the Hardened Scales or Ozolith. Which one's better? I think I probably cast the Ozolith, because I can regen the Ozolith, but I can't regen the Hardened Scales. I think my opponent is just appalled at my next level play of just letting the Boseiju go there. Opponent just trying to figure out how the hell am I this smart, you know? Play out Ozolith. There we go. And next turn I'm gonna play Scales. Wait, what? Generous End? That's kind of sick, actually. Wow, I do like that a lot. Like, living end oftentimes is like trying to find a land. And just being able to forest cycling is actual fixing. That's sick. That's very smart. I'm kind of really excited about that. Okay. Well, we're definitely playing this out. Opponent continues to not force. Here's a Hardened Scales. Do I make a Construct or play out a Ravager? So I guess if I play out a Ravager, I have lethal next turn with this Ink Moth. Making a Construct allows me to play at instant speed, uses my mana better. The Ravager is just so good with... Ravager is just so good with the Ozolith, though. I think we just hang out here. We're low-key playing a Prison deck. Just slowly but surely limiting my opponent's cards that matter. Okay. Well, this is very interesting. So I'm definitely floating a mana, and I can just get another Welding Jar, or I can get Relic of Progenitus. Again, I suspect my opponent has Force, so I think I'm gonna go for Relic. I think that they're just waiting for a better spot to use their Force, but they're just not gonna find one. So maybe they're just looking for an answer to the Soulless Jailer. I'm just gonna activate Relic now, so I can guarantee that I hit a creature. So that's a swing for 2. I'm just gonna make it do the next turn, and that's probably gonna lock it up, because now they can't Otawara. Dude here is pretty large, so now we're just going to float a mana. Now we get another Welding Jar. And once again I can go for lethal, but my opponent could have another Boseiju or something like that, so I'm just going to make the Coward play, and then it's just going to present lethal through the Walking Ballista. Because this is now a swing for 11. Now we're holding up Relic mana, holding up Relic activation. I guess I can just sack the Ballista and put the counters. 2 counters on the Ozolith. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, I mean, this is just a lethal attack, straight up. Unless my opponent does something. But now if they leave in end, I still win, because I have double Welding Jar. Wow, this was kind of a very impressive game. This is a very impressive game. It kind of felt like a little bit like, what's his name? The UR Prison deck from back in the day, where you are like slowly but surely adding 1, 2, 3, you know, pieces lock pieces to the whole thing, and then like eventually the advantage just becomes unsurmountable. Yeah, this is just over. You can cycle all you want, opponent. whatever you're looking for does not exist. Sure. So so they force there. So I want to sack Shadow Spear to the Ravager. So now they can't leave it in anymore, right? So like this relic, because I'm presenting lethal right now, there's nothing my opponent can do about this relic. So I'm not going to let go of either one of my welding jars. So we sack Construct. We're going to sack the relic. We're going to activate Ink Moth and sack the Ink Moth. We're going to sack the Ravager to itself, modular onto the Walking Ballista, and then we're just going to ping them to death. All right, very happy of how I navigated this game. I think that was very, very cool. I think that was very, very cool. Incredible showcase for the Hardened Scales deck, right there. Like Ravager did so much. Ravager did so much just by existing. And how good Ballista was makes me think that it's very likely that I should not have cut any of them when sideboarding. I definitely want 4 copies of this card, and I just don't know what to cut otherwise, though. But yeah, shout out to all of these pieces. The Welding Jar, the Ozolith, all of these cards. Actually, the Ozolith didn't do anything, but the Hardened Scales definitely did stuff. But yeah, every little piece that we added to the board just progressed our game plan and like solidified our advantage that much more. So that was very, very cool. Very, very cool. Last round. Okay, this hand is doing stuff. I think I like it. Let's keep it. I think I'm gonna go turn 1 Pendelhaven into Sabas into Welding Jar. Yeah. There's an argument for Ancient Steerings there. Basic Plains. Giver. Okay, so I'm assuming this is once again Hammer. That sucks. Really wish I had found a land there. I think I'm digging for a land, mostly because Boseiju, I really don't want to play Boseiju as a land here. I guess we attack first, because if my opponent blocks, I just bump, right? So, how much does that matter versus making sure that I do stuff quickly? I think I probably have to let it go. I think I just have to let it go, and I just have to probably play Patchwork here. There's an argument for playing Hangerback or Ravager. I think either one would be close. I'm definitely going to Steerings looking for a land in this coming turn, though. We're going to need more mana. Okay, so they do get Kaldra, which is good for me because it means that they don't have a Hammer, right? It means they don't have an Enabler. That's a good draw. Okay, so let's lead on Steerings, see if we find a land. It's a very good land to find. Oof, that is something. So if I get Ozolith, I need to get Saga. I definitely need to get Saga here. So we get Saga, play Saga. I think I play Hangerback. Yeah, if I play Hangerback, this is only a 1/1 here, but it boosts my Automaton. But now next turn if I find a land, I get to play Scales, play Ravager, activate Hangerback. So that's obviously a pretty good sequence for us. The good thing is that, as is, we are kind of winning this race, so I don't think that my opponent can afford to just use Stoneforge here. So this Kaldra is probably not going to do anything for a minute. Field of Ruin. Okay, so we're actually not playing against Hammer. We figured that out. We're actually playing against... yeah, that's gonna happen. We're actually playing against some sort of Taxes deck, I assume? Yeah, definitely a Taxes deck. Alright, so now we're definitely going to Ravager. My best draw is another Saga. If I find another Saga, then I think I'm going to be in really good shape, because I get to do everything that I want to do. Walking Ballista would also be a fantastic draw. Solitude, just straight up. Okay, just going to take care of the Hangerback. Okay, that's pretty interesting, actually. I don't think I like that play. I mean, there's no reason to do it there. We did find a land, but at this point it doesn't really matter. So here's the Scales. Oh, actually I get to keep flying to Savas. That's hilarious. Okay, so just Patchwork, and we're going to swing with both creatures. Opponent takes the free block. Sure. Just gonna not do anything, just take my 1 point. Maybe I should be getting aggressive, but I don't think that I want to get aggressive there. So land, and we know that Kaldra is one of my opponent's cards. Steerings, probably a decent draw. Walking Ballista is my best draw. Ugh, that's so bad, actually. That's a truly awful. That's a truly awful thing there. Yep, Patchwork, number 2. I don't think I have lethal now, so I'm just gonna swing with Sabas, which I just get to keep flying to. Hit for 1, opponent activates, puts Kaldra into play. But this Kaldra can't actually do anything. Like, it can't attack and it also can't block. Oh, really? You're attacking? Okay, sure, yeah, I'll take 5. Well, now my Patchworks and my Ravager can serve. I don't think that's a good attack, because it just enables all of my attacks. Let's start by cycling. Ink Moth, that's a good one. Trigger some Patchworks, play a land, and now we just swing with everything. If we want to go for it, we actually have lethal next turn. So let's pump Sabas, and I think I'm gonna sack one of these jars just to deal a little bit more damage. Yeah, that attack with the Kaldra was not good. Actually, I think I'm gonna be sacking both jars to the Ravager, because I don't think that the regeneration is going to matter. Like, I don't think my opponent's going to be destroying my creatures. I think they're just going to be exiling them. So, sack jar. So this is 11 points of damage. Alright. So we have a bunch of draws that win the game on the spot. And we also have a bunch of draws that... I mean, I can just lethal them if I want to, right? Like, if I don't want to play around anything. But my opponent has 3 cards in hand. They have 4 mana and a Vial on 2. And they could have upticked the Vial and didn't. So that suggests that they have something, right? They have something going on over there. Yeah. Opponent leaves the Kaldra back, which makes a lot of sense. So now I can't actually jump the Sabas, unfortunately. We're just going to Steerings and we're just going to, I guess, get a Hanger back. Sure. That's a way to win this game. Here is a Hangerback Walker. So we're just gonna pass the turn back. Would have definitely preferred to draw a Ballista there, but Hangerback will have to do. So if they get Batterskull, they get to swing. Oh, Anduril Flame of the West. What the hell does this do? So it's a 3 mana equipment. Equip 2 whenever equipped creature attacks. Create 2 tapped 1/1 white spirits if that creature is legendary. Those are tapped and attacking. Okay, so the spirits are tapped, which is good for me because it means that my opponent can't block with them. So the only creature that I can't suit up is the Kaldra. I think I'm going wide here though. So I think end step I'm going to Ravager, sack, and go make the Hangerback into a 4/4. And then I'm going to crack the Hangerback to make some 4/1/1s. I can pump one of them. Okay, opponent gets to attack. I get to block with this. So Ravager, sack Sabas. Sabas modular onto the Hangerback. Say yes. Hangerback's now a 4/4. We trade. And I think I'd rather trade than putting 2 more counters onto the Ravager. Like, this Ravager is just infinitely large for our purposes. Then we untap. And I can... Well, there we go. That's boring. That is so boring. That is such a boring draw. To be fair, we looked at like 20 cards or something before we finally found the Ballista. Alright, another gemstone over Canopy. And I guess I want Peating Needle and I want the Mites. And I'm gonna cut Welding Jars. And maybe a Hangerback? Maybe a Sabas? Just cut a Sabas, I guess. Cool, let's go with that. Gemstone Caverns on turn 1. Deck's broken. So what do we pitch? I think we just pitch the Might. We get to go turn 1 Scales into Ozolith, which is kind of sick. Whew! Alright, here's an Ozolith. Here's Hardened Scales. Here go. Next turn, we can Ballista or we can Ravager. I'm not sure if this card matters, honestly. I think we just go for Ravager, because Ravager is much better with the Ozolith. Opponent going beatdowns. So here I'm gonna have a choice. Okay, that's a good one. So that's a way that we can start to like accrue value. So now if my opponent wants to Solitude, we get to start pumping the patchwork. And now for my opponent to interact with the ward creature, that's going to be a lot more problematic for them. Yeah, I don't think that attack does anything. I think my opponent's being a little bit too aggressive. Like, I don't think they can afford to do this. Never mind. So now I need to draw land. Brutal. So let's just sack the Ozolith. I'm just gonna play a second one. This is bad if my opponent has Solitude, but I don't think I can really play around Solitude because my opponent's gonna Field of Ruin me again next turn. So I don't think that I think I'm in desperation mode now. So I think that this is fine. So this is a swing for 6. Opponent swings back for 8. I mean, I don't think that I'm winning if I stay back though, so... Oh, they just chomp. Okay. That also makes sense. Imagine they're gonna field now. Just some classic Death and Taxes action. That's a land, but I don't think it's good enough. Because this is gonna... No, but this actually works. Okay. No, okay. So we may be able to do some stuff here. So we pass the turn, and what we do now is we block the Kaldra, we put the counters on Ozolith, we draw a land, put the counters on Ozolith, we draw land, we find Ballista off the top next turn. So we're gonna play a land, play Ballista, shoot the Arbiter, and block the Kaldra again, and then we're going to draw another. Okay, that now it needs to be basic forest exactly. Okay, never mind. Okay, we still had some weird though roundabout outs. It was not very likely, but maybe. Okay, game number 3. I think I don't like Hangerback actually. Let's bring back Sabas and let's bring back Canopy over Gemstone Caverns and ship it. All right, this hand is, yeah, this hand's good. So we're gonna go. I think my life total matters more than my opponent's, so I'm just going to go like this. We're gonna go turn 1 Scales, turn 2 Saga, and I'm gonna play, oh, Ozolith, interesting. Okay, so I think we still play the big Ozolith, because I don't want to play the Might until I have to. We're definitely gonna play a Construct game here, if we are allowed to. Stoneforge. But by hiding the Might, maybe my opponent will go for Kaldra here, and then Might is just a clean answer to Kaldra. Alright, so we do make a Construct here, which is very nice. And if my opponent doesn't have a way to answer the Saga, then we do get to find Sabas. Okay, there's the answer. I'm still gonna make a Construct here. I mean, it is what it is. Like, my opponent's probably gonna blow up the Saga now, but we found our basic. We still get our Construct, so we do get a 2/2, which is not nothing. Canopy's not great though, so let's Steerings first, see what we find. Ballista is not bad. Ballista is not half bad right here. So let's lead on Ozolith, and we're going to just cast Ballista for 1. We're just gonna make 3 dudes. Sure. Wait, those are triggered abilities? Huh, I wonder how that works. Okay, so I think I kill Giver now. Obviously my opponent gets to, they get to protect. They get to prevent 4 damage from happening, right? It's nice now that if my opponent attempts to go the Kaldra route, we just get to out-tempo them very nicely. Blast Zone is very good here. It's gonna get rid of Scales and Ozolith. Oh wow, they're Kaldra-ing. Okay, I'm into this. This seems pretty good for me. Take 5. And tap. Let's play that as a red source. Then I'm gonna Might. And I think I'd rather have guarantee the damage going on here. So we're gonna swing with Ballista and Construct. See what my opponent does. I imagine the answer is nothing. They Solitude now. Interesting. Pitching Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, you counter it. You sacrifice it and creatures gain indestructible until the end of turn and the ring tempts you. Interesting. Alright. So my opponent attempts to pitch there. I'm going to ping. Obviously, if they have Ephemerate, we're gonna be in really, really bad shape. But probably can't beat Ephemerate anyway. Okay, so no Ephemerate is great. So still in attack phase. 2 mana, Samwise. When enters battlefield, you have to one target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Return it to your hand, then the ring tempts you. Wow, that's kind of sick, actually. Alright, so they get back Solitude, and I guess they can pitch again? Do they want to block, is the question. Solitude pitching Stoneforge. So how much mana do I need here? I'm trying to think whether I want to make one more when I want to gain one more life. But I think that I'm going to activate Inkmoth so I can Ozolith onto it. And then I need the extra mana so I can Hayward my Decaldra. So I think we're just going to gain 4. And now pay 1 and activate. Ozolith onto Inkmoth. And then Hayward Might the Decaldra. So we have almost lethal next turn, which is nice. We're at 19. We definitely don't want to see a Field of Ruin. I think my opponent should probably just blow up Blast Zone right now. Oh, they drew another equipment. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's so many blockers. Oh, that's brutal. Okay, so we need to draw something now. We really have to draw something now. That was a big swing. Second Inkmoth is not gonna do it against all of these blockers. Let's play out Inkmoth. I think I'm gonna be a coward this turn. So we're gonna do that. And I think I'm just going to hold Inkmoth back to block their 5-2. I think that's just what I have to do. Obviously, if my opponent has Field of Ruin, the game ends. If they have another Solitude, I also lose. This card is actually pretty legit, not gonna lie. So opponents leaving themselves dead to Ballista if they attack like this. But I also do think that they kind of have to end the game. So we're gonna block the equipped creature to soak up some damage. Take 4. I guess another Hayward Might would be nice, so I can get rid of the equipment. Ballista is my best draw, right? Obviously. If I draw Ballista, I just win. So that part is easy. 3 mana for an Archon. Okay. So we're gonna cycle on end step. Another Ozolith is obviously terrible. Hey, yeah, that's pretty good. So that intercept, unfortunately. So I think it's better for me to do it like this, right? So X equals 1, and then when I tap properly. So X equals 1, and then activate the Ozolith onto the Ballista, because that's 2 separate instances, and it's gonna make more tokens. So that is 6 damage. My opponent is stuck playing 1 spell a turn because of their Archon, which is good for me. Wow, we got there. What a sick top deck. What a sick top deck. Awesome. All right, I am sold. I am sold. I think this deck is fantastic. It was so much fun trying to figure out the lines, and I'm pretty sure that I messed up a bunch of them. So it seems like one of those decks, just like Amulet actually, where, you know, the more work that you put into it and the more that you learn about it, the more, like, just the better that you can play the deck, and it really matters in this kind of deck. You know, the floor in a deck like Burn, for example, and the ceiling they're far from one another. Same with a deck like Tron, for example. Actually, Tron is a much better example for this. But the floor in a deck like Tron is pretty high, but the ceiling is not that much higher, comparatively speaking, right? Whereas with a deck like this is a deck that you get to build and you get to tune and you get to learn the ins and outs from, and it seems like a very rewarding deck to master, and it feels like you can actually get paid off by being a master of this deck. Like, being a good scales player versus being a medium scales player is actually a massive difference. So this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much, Stabs, for the dono. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if you're interested in me playing any deck of your choice, you can do so with any donation of $30 or more. But if you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. Hopefully you dug it, and I'll see you in the next video, folks. Take care, and bye-bye.